Hello and welcome to Frontrunner Motorsport. Another weekend of racing action has come and gone, and this was the first time in 2024 we had an absolutely stacked weekend of motorsport. IndyCar and NXT came to us live from St. Petersburg, Florida, Super Formula from Suzuka, Japan, Formula 2 and the F1 Academy from Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. I'll briefly touch on the Formula Winter Series, which ended this past weekend in Catalonia, Spain, and of course NASCAR from Phoenix. We have already looked at the Formula 1, the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix and the incredible debut of Oliver Bearman, so make sure you check the video out for that. And with that, make sure you subscribe to the channel and let's jump into the video. With so much racing, it's hard to know where to start, but let's kick things off in America, specifically Florida and the beginning of the 2024 IndyCar Championship. A top field of talented drivers and some new names on the grid. I was dead excited for this one. Felix Rosenqvist surprised everyone with mega pace in qualifying and lined up second on the grid next to Newgarden. Marcus Armstrong was the first car to crash in 2024, and it started a bad day for the Ganassi team. This created a charge for the pits and everyone went in. Rosenqvist and Herta led out, but Newgarden was soon back in the lead, and from there he dominated the race. Some great overtakes behind, especially from Pato O'Ward and Scott McLaughlin. A few mishaps, Grosjean spun Lundqvist and later retired himself. Marcus Ericsson also ran into mechanical issues. Only 5 rookies in the field, and once Lundqvist was delayed, top rookie went to Kyffin Simpson in 12th. Joseph Newgarden took the win and his Penske teammates were in 3rd and 4th, sandwiching Pato O'Ward. A good appetizer to the season. Next up is the $1 million challenge. Indy NXT was also at St. Petersburg, and bringing it back from last year, the adventures of Jamie Chadwick show. She did better. She was quick in practice, qualified in the top 10, but was spun early by Josh Pearson, dropped to the back, and was then taken out after contact with Niels Coughlan. So improvements have been made, but luck was not on her side. The top 3 didn't change at all in this race. Nolan Siegel dominated with Jacob Abel and Lewis Foster behind. Miles Rowe gave a good account of himself but dropped back late on. That meant Michael D'Orlando was top rookie without a confirmed drive beyond this round. So if you have a lot of money, first pay my rent and then sponsor Michael D'Orlando. A lot of big names struggled in this race. Josh Mason was about as good here as he has been everywhere else, i.e. not at all good. Callum Hedge survived but outside the top 10. Niels Coughlan retired. Kyle Collette had a couple of offs but recovered to 7th. Bryce Aaron crashed. It was a tough baptism of fire for a lot of drivers. So Nolan Siegel takes the first Indy NXT win of 2024, not long before we get to see him in IndyCar. We have to wait 6 weeks to see what happens next in Indy NXT. Super Formula from Suzuka, a great track for the new season to start at, and plenty of fresh intrigue for the 2024 season. How would Teo Pourchaire fare? How would Najiri do? Well, to answer the first question, not great. And the second, well, he burst into the lead at the start and was always going to be tough to beat from that position. We had our first big crash of the year at the start of lap 2 when Kazuto Kataka and Yuji Kinomoto collided. That brought out a long safety car and possibly changed a lot of people's race strategies. After the restart, Tomoki Najiri led away with ease, pulling a decent gap as the pit stop started. The best battle on track was between the Dandelion Racing teammates, Otter and Makino, nearly made contact several times and win the award for longest team debrief of the weekend. Teo Pourchaire, meanwhile, was having the debut from hell. He struggled all weekend and went off, damaged his front wing, and that dropped him to dead last. In the end, it was lights to flag win for Tomoki Najiri. A lot of the key players were out of the points, such as Sho Suboi, Teo Pourchaire. Ayumu Iwaza was only 9th. And it was Kenta Yamashita and Naoki Yamamoto who completed the podium. I think this is a sign of things to come from Tomoki Najiri, but this was a fantastic Super Formula race. The next round is at Autopolis in a couple of months' time. A quick word on Formula Regional Japan as well. Their YouTube channel only has twice as many subscribers as this poxy little show. They have all the races on there with Japanese commentary and with the timing screen taking up half the screen for some reason, but it's more free motorsport. Who are you to complain? Formula 2 was in Saudi Arabia as the top support race of the weekend. No Oliver Bearman, he was busy driving a Ferrari in the Formula 1s and doing a damn good job of it. So only one Prema on the grid for Andrea Kimi Antonelli. Victor Martin's terrible start to the year continues when he hit the wall on the first lap of the sprint race. Did I say he was a title contender? 4 races in, he scored no points. Richard Verschoor passed Paul Aaron at round for half-ray points. for the lead with a super move, and there was some great battling in the midfield, which was the real highlight of the sprint race. Dennis Hager passed Aaron for second late on, and that proved to be insanely important because whilst Richard Verschoor won the race, he was later disqualified, so the Norwegian technically won. Not the first time Verschoor has lost a win due to disqualification, this time due to an illegal engine mapping. So, on to the feature race. Pepe Marte was the first one out this time, a shame as he had a great weekend in Bahrain. No points here though. Enzo Fittipaldi pulled in a stellar drive and took Maini for what eventually would be the lead. A lot of retirements in this race, several were out before Franco Colapinto's span. Fittipaldi pulled off the move of the century to get past Amaury Cordial and Juan Manuel Correa, taking his first feature race victory in Formula 2. Well deserved. Kush Maini and Dennis Hager completed the podium, rare points for Amaury Cordial after a ballsy tyre strategy, and even Rafael Villagomez scored points. Zane Maloney still leads but had a quiet weekend. Hager and Fittipaldi are just behind. The F1 Academy got underway in Saudi Arabia and it was all about Dorian Pain. She was by far the quickest driver there, almost untouchable with only Abby Pulling really keeping in contact with her. Wildcard entry Rima Jafali was the first to crash in 2024. This will likely be her only appearance, so it doesn't really matter, and she did continue on. Jessica Edgar got a puncture after an audacious manoeuvre. That would have been gold standard if she'd pulled it off. Leah Block was running well in 8th, but her lack of circuit experience bit her hard when she bounced over a curb and spun. And Lola Lovenfoss and Nerea Marti made contact on the final lap, losing out on good points. Not the only controversy involving Lola Lovenfoss this weekend. Easy Dorian Pain victory, and race 2, and it was Lola Lovenfoss who got turned around by Chloe Chambers. It was in returning to racing she pulled out in front of Leah Block and ruined both their races. Not a good look for Lovenfoss, in what was a bit of a dodgy weekend for the French teenager. Rima Jafali would also have another crash, and then more contact led to Aurelia Nobles losing her rear spoiler. Dorian Pain was clearly the class of the field. Abby Pulling and Maya Rugg were also clear of everyone else on the podium for both races, and then it all got a bit strange. Dorian Pain crossed the line but kept racing. Eventually they had to put out the red flags to stop her. A strange miscommunication with the team and she would be penalised. It was just a very odd incident all round. Pain, Pulling and Woog were definitely the class of the field, but it's Pulling who leads the championship after inheriting the win from Pain. Racing was good, very entertaining, but there was a lot of unnecessary crashes. I have to call into question the standard of driving here. A lot of cars took to the runoff a bit too easily as well. Hopefully it's just first race nerves and we get some good racing in Miami. NASCAR from Phoenix Raceway. We had to wait a whole 6 laps before our first big crash, with only 320 more to go. Actually, the next 2 stages were very quiet by NASCAR standards. Christopher Bell did a good job climbing through the field and passing Tyler Reddick with 5 to go. He then got screwed in a pit stop. Stage 3 was pretty chaotic with a couple of stoppages before a bigger crash involving Joey Logano. There were a couple of more spins, but it was Christopher Bell who rose again and took the win. His 7th NASCAR win. Not a great race, actually this was incredibly tedious. Shane Van Gisbergen finished 6th in the Xfinity race. He was helped by several late crashes that shook up the order. Justin Allgaier even crashed whilst leading. It was definitely the better race. Finally, a series I don't think I've ever mentioned before, the Formula Winter Series. This actually has multiple categories, mostly GT racing taking part, but I'm focusing on the junior single-seaters. Not always the most interesting racing series in the world, but this was the finale for 2024 and it was at a wet Catalonia track, which is a rarity in itself. In fact, the rain was so bad, the Saturday got cancelled. This series has had some interesting drivers joining part-time, such as Kari Schreiner and Keanu Alazari, but it was the full-time runners who we are looking at today. Sadly not Rene Lammers, son of Formula 1 driver and Le Mans winner Jan Lammers. He didn't do great, but Australian Griffin Peebles won both of the final races and is a name you should keep in your mind. There are big things coming his way. Andre Cardanis and Maciej Gladitz are worth keeping an eye on as well, but Peebles was in a league of his own at the end of this series and I look forward to seeing what he does next. So that was all the motorsport action from the past weekend. My race of the weekend was the Formula 2 feature race, plenty of action and overtaking and some curveballs to keep you hooked. Make sure you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss this weekend's hot stuff, including Formula E from Sao Paulo, Brazil, IMSA with 12 hours of racing from Sebring, and NASCAR from Bristol. Not on the dirt, sadly. That was too unique for NASCAR and they've got rid of it for 2024, possibly in favour of more ovals. Great. And that's it. Maybe I was premature when I said 2024 was in full swing. So leave your thoughts down below in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Thank you very much for watching and have a good one.